One of my hobbies is collecting and restoring vintage John Deere two-cylinder tractors. I have 6 of them in my shed now, and I use some of them in parades and shows with the organization I belong to, the Twin-Cylinder Tractor Club, and also the McHenry County Antique Farm Equipment Club.
Try looking up here.
We also do plowing with them whenever there's an opportunity. With that one, I use a 1931 John Deere two-cylinder, or I use a 1941 John Deere two-cylinder. I have a 2-bottom plow, and we plow with a group, one behind the other, and we try to do as good a job as we can for the farmer. But the weather is always a determining factor. If the ground is too wet, we can't plow, so we have to call it off and have it at a future date. But it's good exercise for the tractors, because if you just use them in a parade all the time, they build up carbon in the combustion chambers. But you put a plow behind them where they're working and under load. That's the best thing for them. It keeps the tractor engine limbered up, and it's just good business. A John Deere two-cylinder tractor is made to work. They run best when they're pulling something, either on a belt or something in the field. They're an easy tractor to maintain. They only have 2 spark plugs. They don't have any fan belt. They don't have any generator. They don't have a starter. Most of mine do. And they can burn a very cheap fuel as well for plowing. It's called distillate. You start the tractor on gasoline, and after the tractor is warmed up to about 180 degrees, you switch it over to distillate. And the distillate is several cents a gallon cheaper than gasoline. When these tractors were built, you could buy a distillate for about 7 cents a gallon. And tractor gas at that time was 11 cents a gallon. So over a course of a year's time, there's quite a difference between the price of that. And they'll function just as well on distillate as they do on gasoline. The only thing is with distillate, when you quit, you have to switch it back to gasoline. So when you shut it off, you have gasoline in the carburetor, because it will not start on distillate when they're cold. So to me, it's a very satisfying hobby. You meet a lot of good people. You travel around different areas, and it's just one of the best things I ever got into. The reason I got into this is because my grandfather had a John Deere tractor I drove for the first time when I was 10 years old. And then my uncles had John Deere tractors. Well, as time went on, I didn't know there was any other kind of tractor around, because all my relatives, all my uncles, had John Deere tractors. And they were good for the farmer, because they had a hand clutch. And you could take a boy for 8 or 9 years old could operate that tractor. Whereas you had an Alice Chalmers or International or some of the other ones, they had a foot clutch, and you have to push your left foot way down to make it to shift the gears and relieve the clutch. The John Deere had a handle. You just push that handle, and you could be standing up on the tractor and use it. So that was how I got started with the John Deeres, and I like the sound of them too. They have a distinctive sound. They're very, very reliable, steady going. So that's about all I have right now. Thank you.